Well, greetings everybody, and welcome to this week's Metaworld News. This is the week ending the 4th of March. Yes, March already, and the year is 2018. But you knew that, didn't you? So why do I bother, you ask? Because one day I'll get it wrong and you'll have a good laugh. Okay. So fairly quiet on the news front this week, so probably won't have a particularly long show here. But what we do have, you're about to get. The first pieces I'm going to read out, you'll find links to them. If you don't pick them up on Voice here, you'll find links to them on my Twitter. Sorry, James? Yes, you're live. No. Oh dear.
All right.
Oh, and there's the dog too. Okay, thank you. Sorry about that, ladies and gentlemen. Just proof of the pudding that we are live, and this isn't totally rehearsed and pre-recorded or anything else like that, even though you do watch in replay. Okay, to the news. I have one that's, according to my list here, it's 2 weeks old. I was about to say you can find the links to this on my Twitter stream at twitter.com/Malburns, MALBURNS. This comes from VRScout.com, Malia Probst reporting. It's about an all-female founders pitch event that was actually totally held in VR. And VR, in this case, is kind of a virtual world. I'm not entirely sure which world they used. It's not one of the super familiar ones like OpenSim or Second Life or even, by the look of it, Sansar. It's kind of a bit of a blockhead looking one. But anyway, quite interesting that they brought 26 countries from across the world of women founders to have a little conference. Right, digitaltrends.com. Have a post about virtual reality training ground helps robots prepare for the real world. Looks like this has been retweeted, so we may have actually had this one last week. Yes, indeed, we did cover it. It's basically, believe it or not, Flipboard doesn't want to work on Windows anymore. It's inevitable, isn't it? Sorry, I have to flip back. There we go. Right, so actually I just have 3 main posts from that feed for this week. Number 628 of a podcast for Voices of VR.com. They actually had VR 2025, current and future state of VR and VR and AR industry. And it was a general sort of audio roundup, hour long or so podcast, looking at the state of now and the future, both AR and VR. A couple of days ago, this actually isn't new, although it might be a new take on it. Basically, a Chinese courtroom is using VR to revisit a crime scene. Now, I believe there have been similar instances of this in courts where, jurors are shown recreations of scenes and things like that, to help them gauge what's going on. But apparently this was a bit more complex. It involved a complete reenactment of a crime scene using VR, and it was, being put forward to the court as evidence. Rather, well, of course, it would go to jury, I guess. I don't know how Chinese courts work. I think they're pretty much like our regular courts. But anyway, apparently they're going to be doing more of that in the future. They think VR is a great way of convicting people or not. Finding them innocent, maybe, who knows. And also another general article, this one at VRScout.com, a hands-on look at the state of input in VR. Again, a kind of overview post looking at input in VR refers to all the headsets, all the haptic controllers, even keyboard and mice variants and stuff like that. It's kind of an overall view of all the things you can plug into a computer or a console to actually interact with VR. And there are many, many of them. too many to count. You wouldn't be able to wear them all. Put it that way. So what wins at the end of the day, we don't know. But this is a general look at possibilities. Now, as I said, that's it from the main feed. It was slow. I also have a feed for us on this program, which you'll find at twitter.com Metaworld News. And there are a few things here that are worthy of mentioning. It's all over now, but it was a big week on the hypergrid for the OpenSim community, devoting a whole week to a deceased developer whose name was Cornflakes. And Cornflakes Week was all over the place. So there were a lot of posts about that. Moving up a bit, the website is help.sansar.com. That's SANSAR. This is Linden Labs' new closed world called Sansar, and it's basically a load of announcements and reminders. Apparently, a major update is happening to that platform imminently, and obviously they're trying to promote all the big changes without actually telling you what they are till they happen. So not an easy move, that. But anyway, expect major changes there, including much more advanced interactivity and stuff for avatars. Right, another post. This is posted at medium.com, and he was in our Discord chat earlier in the week talking about various things. The post is at medium.com. It's by Christopher Colosi, who runs the Globits virtual world currency system. And the title of the piece is A Lesson in Why You Should Always Log Code Paths You Never Expect to Hit. Not exactly a headline that will make you think hypergrid OpenSim, but basically he describes it as a post-mortem of the vending machine delivery failures on the discovery grid on the OpenSim VR platform. And basically it's his comment on the fact that, one tiny little thing wrong when you set up a grid can actually have disastrous effects by breaking vending machines and all sorts of stuff like that. So apparently somebody was unhappy and he stepped in and sorted it out and has now written an article, presumably, so he doesn't have to step in and sort out anybody else again. So you'll find that on medium.com. The link is on the Metaworld news stream. I had a rather odd week myself, so checking out a few new worlds. Ryan Schultz is a familiar name, .com, RyanSchultz.com. And he was tipped off, and so was I, by his post about a new virtual world for art curators called Occupy White Walls. And at first sight, I thought this was almost another science-spacey thing done with Unity, but it's actually been built with the Unreal Engine. And you basically, it's sort of in an alpha really at the moment, but the idea is you get a space that you can expand and build in and create your own art gallery, or dedicate an art gallery to some artist you like, kind of thing. And the whole world basically seems to be like an OpenSim destination, except devoted to art galleries in rooms. The avatars aren't anything to talk right home about. They're sort of humanoid, and you can actually buy masks, like an old man's face. But when you wear it, it actually looks like you're wearing a mask. It's not a skin. So not too good, that one. But anyway, I thought it was quite interesting. So Occupy White Walls, again, as far as I can see, it's not something that will ever interoperate with anything else. So a bit of a backwater from that point of view. But who knows? If you like art, that could be a kind of place to go. And oh yes, I've actually got two posts on the same subject. One is Ryan's article, and the other one is a link straight to the login page. I also went and visited this website is called Mark Space, MARK-space .com. And many years ago, I guess it was back in the 90s, I did actually have a friend. He's no longer with us, I'm afraid, but he was working with somebody who I believe was in Amsterdam, and they did have a site called Markspace. And this was a kind of archiving site where they built the front end using VRML, the earliest sort of 3D web experiments. And you could go to museums and libraries and cafes and things like that from the opening screen, and then eventually you got into the museum, and further clicks actually just took you to bog standard web pages with catalogs and stuff. But it was an early kind of interface idea, and I have no idea. I've been trying to find out whether the current Markspace it seems to have an awful lot of staff, contributors, associates. I haven't found any familiar names yet, but it is actually the same name of the site, so maybe they just took it over at some point in history. It's very much a commercial thing of VR, but again, it's basically for setting up commercial sites and stuff like that, but it does seem to operate like the virtual worlds we know. And I think that one was another one that is actually, the back end at least, is authored in Unity. So it has a sort of that slight commonality with Science Space's look, although not nearly so flashy. So there's a couple of outside visits I sort of took during the course of the week, really. And I'll just have another look. Oh, yes, I also joined, because they do have one, the Occupy White Walls actually has a Discord server for chatting into, but in my experience so far in the last couple of days, it's not exactly exciting, and I probably won't keep subscribing to it. So that is that. And finally, I'm just going to, I have Google Plus open on my other screen here, but I also have my summary of posts, so I'll just have a quick look at that. And actually, it looks to me like all the posts there are, Cornflakes Week and last week's programs. So nothing new there to talk of. So I think that's it for me. Now, of course, our big thing with Social Worlds is, of course, OpenSim, or more accurately, the Hypergrid, which I will... I'll just come back to that after James, but for now, I'll hand over to James, because he's got a little bit of news from the OpenSim developers group. Over to you, James.
Yeah, can you hear me, Mel?
Yes, indeed.
Okay, very good. Too many audio channels running around on the computer, but I think I've got it. I've got it traced down. It's working now. So yes, I did. I was able to attend Tuesday's office hours for the OpenSim developers and grid owners and grid users to talk about all things Open Simulator. And last week I reported that there was work happening on a new scripting engine, and I was a little confused last week about what exactly that was related to, and it is in fact related to the user scripting for objects. So that would be LSL, Linden Scripting Language, and OSSL, the Open Simulator Scripting Language. And I got a little more into asking what was going on with this, and one of the issues that I think has been happening with Open Simulator, especially for people who are doing very complicated scripts of things that are interacting, vehicles, things that require a lot of movement on the part of an object, and the previous scripting engine was very, very slow, and it was part of the way that it was tied into the operating system, either Linux or Windows. And this new scripting engine is quite an improvement, actually. And so the developers have been testing it, and there's some news now coming from the IRC, the Internet Relay Chat, that the new engine is performing really well. And so I think this is a really positive thing for Open Simulator. And so it's I think they're going to be looking at seeing when it can be put into the core code. But I think a lot of people who have very intense action simulations, some of the gaming worlds and some of the adventure worlds are going to appreciate this new scripting engine. So man, kudos for that work.
And I think I will too, because all the sort of problems I have on my own grid here, offline or not, tend to seem to have something to do with scripting.
Right,
so,
right. Yeah, and our chairs. so critical
Oh,
to our.
how did you guess? Thinking of our chairs.
That's right. That's right. That's
Not
always.
not not these ones, but ladies and gentlemen, we do have a whole array of nice looking chairs. What won't work? Go figure.
That's right.
Anyway,
And
enough
for
of that. Enough of
broadcasters, if we don't look good
that.
sitting down.
We sure ain't gonna look good any other way, are we? Yeah, fair
Yep.
enough.
Yep. So that's great work to see that's happening. And then there was a little bit of work from last week. We're talking about some prims, and actually to clarify that, it's specifically tortured prims. So prims that are really twisted and turned and things like that. Some of the textures weren't showing up, and
Right.
one of the developers has a link, a lead on why that's happening. And so that looks like another situation that's going to be resolved. So nice positive week in OpenSim developers office hours.
Great.
Yep.
Great. That's yeah, I do remember something a week or two ago that was actually about mesh textures not appearing too. I wonder if that's related to the tortured prims business.
No, I
Although
think it's
technically,
it's very different. It's still related to that. The proper way to import a mesh, importing without analyzing,
yeah,
is one of the workarounds that is going on. But I know that mesh is extremely popular on so many grids, so I think
yeah,
that's going to continue to get good attention by the developers.
yeah. Rule of thumb is if you're using Firestorm or something like that, you do not analyze it because
Right,
that,
right,
that, that prepares it for a certain platform that is not Open Simulator.
right.
If you want it in Open Simulator, you do not want to use a certain labs and analyze button. It really shouldn't be in our OpenSim viewer, but never mind.
Right, right.
You know what buttons are like. They're so tempting, aren't they?
They
Oh,
are. I agree.
I wonder what that does. Oh, that looks good. I've actually just broken it, but it sure looks good.
That's great.
Yeah, that's life, isn't it?
Yep.
Okay, that's wonderful. So thank you for that.
Yep.
Right, what was I do? Oh yes, coming up, we'll have more about this on the hour. We'll be here with them. We'll review. We'll be joined by Kevin Feenan from Rockcliffe University, who's also convener of Virtual World's Best Practices conference. The next 3 weeks are actually rather exciting. Next weekend is a 2-day music festival called Robstock, and that happens on the third rock grid. And it's in a good cause too because it's free to get in and everything else, so you just hop over here. But they will also be trying to get donations off you to benefit Doctors Without Borders, Medicine Don Frontier or something in French. And it's an annual event. They do it every year, and it's always raising money for Doctors Without Borders too. So a worthy cause, and 2 days solid of music, basically, like a music festival in the winter. Well, the spring it officially is now. Not that I believe it. And the week after that is actually the Virtual World's Best Practices in Education conference. It's called V. I've forgotten already. V something this year.
Revolutions.
That's it, yeah. V Revolutions
That's right.
or VR Evolutions. You
That's
can
right.
apparently take it whichever way you want. And that's happening the week after. Now, as far as I know, unless I'm told otherwise in an hour or so, that will all actually happen in the Second Life platform this year. But it will be broadcast. We'll be broadcasting some keynotes. And I think there'll be other broadcasts too. And it's of interest, I think, to anybody involved with virtual worlds, especially in the educational field. So despite the fact it's the events in Corporate Wall Garden, it's kind of interest to everybody. And not only that, the weekend after that, believe it or not, is our Hypergrid International Expo, which is a multi-language event. Featuring presentations, hopefully largely visual presentations in various languages. I know this one we have Portuguese, French, German, Spanish, and Italian. And we ourselves here do the linkage in between sessions in English, so we have people talking about what's been going on in English. But even while the sessions are on, there's translations and stuff. So it's a busy 3 weeks, and in fact, we'll be in April before this weekend marathon of multiple weekends is actually over. So get those in your diary for sure. Useful places to go to. And I think that's about it. There are obviously lots of events happening on the hypergrid, also in Sciencespace, and a few in Hyperdeity. The events on all over the place all the time. But individual events like that are beyond our remit. It's not news. We'll have an event show one day for you. So that's it for me, I think, and I guess it's that's probably it from him too. Is it?
It is.
Yeah. Goodbye from me and goodbye from him. Thanks, Dave. Yeah, he took the cue this week. Right, okay. So that's it from us this week. We'll be back with another news bulletin same time next week, and have a good week all. Bye for now.